Welcome to Real People, Real Fitness, where we talk about the journey, not just the results. This isn't about perfect athletes or highlight reels. It's about real stories, real growth, and the work that happens when nobody's watching. And I couldn't think of a better guest to start with today than someone I've had a front row seat to watch grow, my son Anderson. He didn't start as the best player on the basketball court. I think he'll agree with me on that, but he loved the game of basketball. And over time, that passion turned into something bigger. It turned into leadership, into coaching, and into becoming one of the most respected voices in women's and girls basketball here in Middle Tennessee. Today, we're going to talk about that journey, what it takes to go from average to impactful. I'm your host, William Keathley. Let's get into it. Hey, AK, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I have so much I want to talk to you about, but I think the gist of your story is the basketball. I mean, just that was kind of your passion early on. Now there's a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff I want to get to. First I just want to say a little bit about this is our first episode of doing this show. And kind of the vision is just to dive into people's fitness lives, like what they do, where they came from, where they're heading, that sort of thing. And it's probably gonna be mainly ordinary, everyday people like us, even though I would say you're probably extraordinary, but it's kind of gonna be that way. And we're just gonna talk about all sorts of things. And you're like the perfect guy because we actually had a podcast that we came from Peloton People that we started 2021.
Yeah, a long time ago.
So it's kind of ironic because it was a top 5% podcast, and I just kind of was starting to get frustrated. You bailed on it a lot sooner than I did, and it was just kind of, we were locked in that Peloton box where I want to know, like, we'll still talk a lot of Peloton because you and I still do a lot of it, but there's just so much out there in the world of fitness and in the world of sport and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really excited to see where this goes. But today I want to start with you, and I want to say, like, what is your earliest memory of athletics, fitness, sport, when you were little? Like, what's the one thing you remember or the first thing you remember?
Probably the first thing would be swimming.
Okay. That's kind of what I would think too, because I'm trying to look at your timeline too. And, you're 26 years old now, and I can't even remember back there. And so I kind of wonder that. I mean, do you remember just being thrown in the pool, or do you remember like how it all started and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I remember being part of sports comm,
Yeah.
and that was really my first intro into competitive swimming, if you will.
Yep.
And then it really, I mean, it evolved from there. I mean, I swam for years and years and years, and then kind of got bored with swimming and then switched to basketball, cross country, lacrosse, those other sports. And then, funny enough, I picked up swimming again. And I don't know, swimming's probably the earliest memory that I have of anything in sport. And it's, I don't know, it's probably the longest thing I've done, maybe next to basketball. I might have played basketball for longer at this point.
Yeah, I think you probably have. You don't swim much anymore, do you?
Not really. I mean, I was for a while, but then after we moved, just haven't. I mean, I don't have access to a pool right now for one, but two, I just don't necessarily have the time right now either, especially in the spring.
I know. I'm really interested how like everybody's life ebbs and flows like that. Like your swimming career and mine kind of followed the same path. It's one of my earliest memories too. And and then I swam like year round. I was a year round swimmer, and I just got burned out so bad. And then I came back in high school, my junior year, sort of like you did.
Yeah.
But you came back to swimming sophomore year though, didn't you?
Yes. And I
Okay.
mean, I even remember like taking swim lessons from that lady in Smyrna.
Yeah, see, I barely remember that.
It was that
So
above ground pool that they had totes in the bottom of it so you could stand. And
I
that's
I
probably the first swimming thing I could remember.
I also have a memory of myself playing t-ball at a really young
Mm.
age, and I remember I was the worst player on the worst team in the league, and I just hated it. And to show you how bad I was, I can remember, and I was little. I mean, t-ball players are tiny. I don't know how old they are, but I can remember, and I shouldn't probably admit this on the first episode of a new show, but I can remember striking out in t-ball. Like, you know how hard that is to do? Like, the
Yeah,
ball's
it's
sitting
not.
there,
Yeah, it's not
it's sitting there
pitched.
on a tee,
Yeah,
and I
that's
struck
bad.
out. I
That's
mean,
bad.
yeah, yeah, imagine me. I just yeah, like, organized sports, I never was really good at that. Swimming, I was
Hmm.
decent, and, running, I probably became better, but I just wasn't very good at that. Now, next, you really got into basketball after all the swimming stuff, and
Yeah,
you played the first organization that you played really was it middle school?
yeah.
Okay, and I remember you weren't that great. I mean, do you think you were good back
No,
then?
I was terrible.
Yeah,
I was really, really bad. I mean, just didn't even really I mean, I watched a lot of basketball. I played a lot of 2K. So, I mean, I knew the game of basketball, but I just had 0 skills, really. I mean, I couldn't shoot. I'd miss layups because I was so fast. I'd just run as fast as I could, and they'd just bounce off the backboard. Very
yep.
little touch.
Well, your whole team
Um,
was terrible. To me, I mean, to be fair to you, your team was bad.
yeah.
And y'all won some games, but y'all also got crushed in some games.
Oh, yeah.
And that was kind of the first entry. And we didn't know about AAU basketball and all that stuff back then. And I think we were living at the farm at the time, and we had no goal here or any gyms really even close by. Your school was like
Right.
45 minutes away. And so looking back on it, the way your players grow in your AAU program is so different than the way you did it.
Yeah,
It
I mean, it couldn't be any more different, but I absolutely wouldn't be where I'm at right now without the journey that I took in basketball, the
I know it's such
steps
a it's
and
such
lack
an advantage.
thereof. Yeah, I
Now
mean, it took me where I needed to be.
now here's one thing, as your father, that I really noticed watching you grow is when you started that cross country running at the web school where you went to school, and just all the core you did. You
Mhm.
guys weren't the best running team. Y'all were
No.
good. You had some good runners, but but your coach really really focused on core. I
Mhm.
mean, almost a ridiculous amount of core, to where
Mhm.
I can remember you having abs as like a seventh and eighth grader in high school. I mean, in middle school,
Yeah.
and that always just blew me away. But I think that is like really a secret part of your secret sauce, if you will. I mean, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a relatively strong core, which can help with your balance, injuries. I mean, really anything. If your core is strong and centered, which I'm fortunate enough that mine is, and started at a young age and have kept it up, then I mean, I don't have a lot of problems that unfortunately some people have to deal with.
So while I would say basketball was still your main focus, you did dip into the running there, and you were a good
Hmm.
runner. You could have been a way better runner than me. You just didn't like it all that
No.
much. Like you like. I always thought, I think you told me once, even you were like, I like basketball because it's always cool inside. You don't have to worry about the weather and that sort of thing. Although you love going to play pickup ball outdoors too, but I mean that was your bread and butter inside. So we moved, and it's so weird how just two or three big life moments can really shape a person's destiny, and it,
Yeah.
it kind of applies in fitness too.
Yeah.
That's Willow, everybody. She's known for barking. Willow, please stop. Okay, so I should have shipped her off today. But anyway, so one of your big things is we moved to Nashville. So we
Yep.
were living in Green Hills in Nashville, Tennessee, and we had a YMCA very close to us. And this was your sophomore year, going into your sophomore year, right?
Hmm.
Okay. And so you started going to the YMCA, I think every day, like 8, 7, 8 in the morning, and sometimes I wouldn't even pick you up till 8 or 9 at night. Not because I was just leaving you there, but you didn't want to come home.
Yeah.
And you literally played basketball all day long. I mean, they talk
Hmm.
about the 10,000 hours that a person needs to put in. I feel like you did that during your time in Green Hills. I mean, it was
For
kind of that
sure.
way. You came back to swimming, and yeah, you swam, but even after you swam, you would go to the Y after school, and in the summers, that's where you lived.
Yeah.
And after that time period, I think you might have played some church ball or something like that. And I personally was amazed at how good of a player you had become. You didn't play for your high school team, but you were I don't I mean, you're a good player. I mean, you were really good. I don't think you play as quite as much now, but I mean, you were really, really good. So why do you just chalk that up to like just practice? I mean, nobody really coached you or anything. I mean, how does that happen?
Well, I mean, it's a combination of practice for sure. I was also athletic, so I mean, still am. So it's pretty easy to get past people when you're fast. And I mean, also the best experience, and I tell people this now that I train, the best experience you can get is game experience. I mean, a lot of times a young basketball team, and I don't necessarily mean like grade, like a team that's brand new or not experienced in terms of playing with each other. If you are trying your hardest in practice, no matter what, you will never be able to replicate a game.
Hmm.
And pickup's a little bit different, because there's not a bunch of defense being played. People are shot chucking for sure. But if you play with the right mix of people, you'll definitely never lose a pickup game if you're like committed to team basketball, which sounds silly, but it is true. Especially like the Green Hills Y was a very competitive basketball space. Had a lot of former college players, former pros come through, celebrities, and saw all types of people playing there. And
Who was the biggest name you ever played with there that you remember?
Basketball wise,
Yeah,
or
I guess either, but basketball wise, who you got to play with?
hmm, there were a lot of really good people.
I think the one I remember who you were the most excited about was Garrison.
Garrison Matthews.
Yeah, he played for Lipscomb University at the time, and went on to have a little bit of an NBA career. I don't know if he's still playing in the NBA, but you were super excited the day you got to play with the Lipscomb guys. I remember
Yeah,
that.
he was very, very good and just very hard to stop. And on those are smaller courts to begin with, so
Yeah.
the range for players like that is pretty much the whole court, which is crazy. But yeah, he was probably the most famous basketball player and probably the best that I saw.
Now, well, I guess you didn't really learn like the offensive scheming and defensive strategies and all that. That was more of a college kind of experience, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that came from Belmont and
Yeah.
just being around basketball so much.
So let's go to that point. I think personally, after I saw you learn how to really play ball and just how crappy you were as a kid. I mean, that's a lot of people though. I mean, that's a lot. But I think you definitely could have played in high school. I just didn't know it, but I'm pretty sure you could have. But then when you went to college, you went to Belmont University.
Mhm.
And I remember you were looking for like some work study, to help pay for tuition. And I'll let you take over this, but you went to the guys basketball team and then take over from there.
Well, I had emailed to see if there were any openings to be like a manager or practice player or something, and the guys' team was full, so they just reached out and said they were full. But then the women's team replied back that they didn't have anybody to do it, so that they were looking for people and that they would see if I'd be a good fit. So then I went to a couple practices, met everybody, figured out how to do it, became a manager officially for them, and then really into that year became a solid practice player as well once they realized I could play a little bit because they never really asked. And then one day they just saw me play, and it was over from there. So then
See, that's another one of those huge life-changing moments. where you are sitting right now in your apartment in Nashville, Tennessee, is a direct result of you sending that email to Coach Brooks at Belmont.
For
I mean,
sure.
just that one little thing changed your life
Yeah.
so much in so many ways. So keep going.
So then, I mean, I ended up being there for 5 years. My first year, I didn't really travel with the team. I went on like day trips, but never overnight trips. I guess I hadn't proven my worth yet.
Hmm.
But then year two is really when I was able to take over and do way more, be in charge, sit on the bench, really close up on the bench and do real tasks and get to assist with all types of player development, film, scouting, all types of stuff that was really fun and got to learn a lot. Became a really good practice player at that point and was able to help Belmont do whatever we needed to do. I mean, we had huge games where we played Louisville when Haley Van Lith was there at home. We also played them on the road. We played Iowa when Caitlin Clark was there. And we played against some really, really big time players. And, we went to the NCAA tournament a couple times while I was there, won two first round games while I was there.
Oh, I gotta, I
And
gotta, I gotta talk about this. The best year for me watching Belmont basketball was the year that you guys beat Oregon in
yep,
the
first
tournament. That was
round.
your
Yeah.
opener, right?
Yeah, that was the opener.
And then Tennessee, you lost by what was it, 1 point?
I think it ended up being four,
Okay,
but
but I mean, y'all could have won on basically that last shot, basically.
if we had hit those free throws at the end of the game was over. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, experience mattered in that situation.
and that game was at the University of Tennessee, which was the most unbelievable basketball game I have ever been to, and especially when you think it was a women's basketball game.
Yeah,
So,
it was crazy. The environment was really cool. I mean, I would say that was the best environment we ever got to witness. Second best would be Iowa, because I mean, when Caitlin Clark was there, and it was actually really the start of Caitlin Clark's takeover. It wasn't
mhm.
even where she was at her peak, but it was still sold out
I
just because
hadn't
those
heard of
Iowa
her until
fans.
y'all played that game, and you told me, but going in, you said this is going to be the best college player you've ever seen,
Yeah,
and I mean, at least at that year, they weren't even really that good, except for her. You
no.
guys would have won that game, except she scored 30 plus, and you were all over. I mean, she would throw stuff up from half court, and it would go in. It was
Yeah, she was
insane. Now,
dangerous.
I wasn't there, so I didn't get the environment like I was when I was there at the Tennessee NCAA game. But I can only imagine. It just must have been so lit.
Yeah, it was really nice. And then, we played at Louisville. Louisville was really, really a good atmosphere too when Haley Van Lith was there.
Hmm.
And we got to do some really special things. I'm really grateful for the experience and the opportunity because I got to experience stuff I never would have experienced otherwise. I mean,
And they
I
used
was
you
right
well
there.
too, where you were able to learn. I mean, I can remember some games where you're sitting right by the head coach and the assistant coach, and you're actually we're getting to help them coach, there toward the end, your last year or two. And I mean, it was pretty fun to watch. I think that's where you really grew, your basketball mind. I mean, you were already a great player then, but I think that's where you kind of just put it all together, And I would be remiss if I didn't say this. You fell in love with one of the players, and you guys got married.
That is correct. Yes. So I mean, just crazy, crazy how that all worked out. And now we're coaching together, running our program together, doing everything we can together. So
I know
basketball wise,
it's just so cool. And then just to finish up the basketball story a little bit, I mean, it's really only the beginning, but you guys graduate college, you and Nikki, and
yep,
y'all decided that you're going to become basketball trainers,
yep,
basically. So you just kind
hmm,
of hung out your shingle, would do clinics,
yeah,
take on clients, that sort of thing. And I mean, it was just so impressive to watch, just to have the nerve and the guts to go for something that you're just so passionate about. Most people I think would question, especially right after college, doing a move like that, and just into the unknown just like that. But you guys found success very early on, which
yeah,
I would never doubted ever. I think I even told you, I think I even encouraged you to do what you guys were going to do. Cause
Yeah.
if you do something you're really passionate about, they say you'll never work a day in your life. And it's kind of true, and you're seeing that up close,
Oh
so
yeah. I mean, it's a very stupid life that I live that I'm able to do this.
yeah, I mean,
It's
it's just
crazy. I would have never would have imagined it. And you're 100% right. We took a risk, and every single person that we talked to said it was a terrible idea, except for you.
I
And
remember
so,
that. I remember that.
I mean, we just went after it because why not? I mean, there was really no reason not to.
So then next you guys started your AAU program, right? Yeah, that kind of came next. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so I mean, we trained probably for about a year. Well, really before the spring we started training. So,
Mhm.
spring is when the big AAU basketball season starts. And so we were training. We got a good base of clients. And funny enough, I mean, it just worked out this way that almost all of our clients didn't have a team per se.
Mhm.
And, we trained a little bit in college too, so we did have a couple pre-existing clients that and it's not like we're making groundbreaking money to start, but it's like, we got a couple people we can probably expand word of mouth, etc. And so after about a year of training, probably, spring comes around and we see that all these other teams are hosting tryouts. And so our players that we train are talking about going to these tryouts. And Nikki and I are like, well, why don't we just start our own program for people? It makes sense. It would be easier to do that. And then we can keep our people that we coach. Because I will say this is just a tiny tangent, and not really no one that this applies to will ever see this, but
Right. We might
it
not even ever have one listener, by the way, but this is still
true.
really interesting.
And if they do see it, that's even better.
Yeah.
But it it doesn't make sense to have 7 basketball trainers, 4 coaches, like that, and then your parents. So you're looking at 13 voices, and that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but there's so many kids in Nashville specifically, and really all over. It's not just a Nashville thing, but they'll train with 4 or 5 different trainers.
Mhm.
And then some of these people play for multiple AAU teams, which is ridiculous in itself. And then they'll have a coach for middle school, a new coach for high school, their AAU coach for one team, their AAU coach for another team. Maybe they play a little like rec ball too, so that's a fifth coach, and then they're training with all these people. So we really saw the value in trying to have similar voices. It's really hard to play for multiple styles of basketball, and
Mhm.
no trainer that I don't know any real trainers. Okay. So if my kid is going to train that plays for me, and I have this to this day, if my kid trains with somebody else, well, congrats. You've trained with somebody and wasted your time, because whatever you just worked on, you will not do for me on my basketball court. I
Mhm.
mean, I've got people thinking that they can do crazy moves, and then you're doing it 1-on-0 in training, and then you try to do it in a game. Well, there's 9 other bodies on the floor, so those don't really apply. So that's how our training is different. We're trying to do game skills. If you play for us, I can literally train you in your exact plays and your exact concepts and your exact position. So I can put you where you will be on the floor, taking those game shots with whatever that might look like. But it's I don't know, it's a real problem in the basketball scene. There's so many people that just train with multiple people or coached by multiple people. So we saw an opportunity to start something that would keep people with us for one, and would keep the coaching the same. And
And how many
by all
teams
accounts, it's worked.
and how many teams did y'all start with that first season?
I feel like we only had one, and it was
Oh,
like
they do too.
combined. Yeah, I think it
And
was a
then
combined whatever age it was at the time, team. And so it,
and
it
this was
was
just basically, was this 3 years ago or 4 years ago?
this was 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. One thing I remember always being impressed by that you told me. Well, first of all, it's kind of hard on these girls, like you said, with different trainers, different teams. But there's always going to be some of that because they all have their high school coaches or their middle
For
school
sure.
coaches, and so it's never going to be the same. But like a
No.
trainer like you and Nikki can help these kids go to their team and be actually fit in better with their team. So that's
Right.
the kind of thing I've noticed. And one thing I love that you told me early on, it was like, we basically train these girls starting out as all guards, because you don't know what size they're going to grow to. You don't, but if you have those ball handling and decision making skills, it just makes a better player. So many teams you see, the tall girl is just automatically the center, and so
Mhm.
she doesn't ever develop that ability to bring the ball down the court per se.
Right.
And that always hit home with me. I was like, that's pretty cool. And then the other thing you taught me was, dribbling is really, I mean, you can learn and you can get better, but you kind of have it or you don't almost,
For
like
sure.
to be a great dribbler.
For
Um,
sure.
and even when you were little, you were a pretty good dribbler. You just didn't have, the control. So I guess
Mhm.
once you put it all together, then you were actually pretty good. But I just love that. And so then after that, you guys started coaching with Harpeth Hall basketball in Nashville, like the
Yep.
high school team. So how did
So,
how did all that happen? Well, first of all, you became the middle school coach, right? Or the
yeah,
the sixth
so
grade.
yeah, so Nikki and I, we work Belmont camps, and so we are always at those summer camps. At least used to be. Unfortunately, now our schedule does not align with that. But that was another opportunity that there was someone that was working the camp that was an assistant high school coach at Harpeth Hall.
Hmm.
And so she was at the camp, and then they needed fifth and sixth grade coaches. So even lower than middle school, but they needed new fifth and sixth grade coaches. And so we met with Harpeth Hall and said yes. So Nikki and I became the coaches of the fifth and sixth program at Harpeth Hall, and we had a really successful year. And a lot of those players, well, actually not anymore, but some of those players started playing for us and were part of that first AAU team we did. And then now the best players have stuck with us, and so they will continue to be the best players in their class. And then after that season, we ended up getting promoted to assistant coaches for high school because they said we took it a little too serious and we were a little intense for that level, which I whatever. I mean, maybe at Harpeth Hall, sure, but that's the age we coach for AAU. So
Right, right.
it's kind of like our bread and butter. And so then that was last season, not this previous season, but the season before. We were the high school assistants. And then this past season, Nikki got promoted to being the head coach. I was the associate head coach this past season. So now Nikki and I are in charge of Harpeth Hall's basketball program, the entire program in high school and middle school and fifth, sixth also. So
It's just so neat, because you guys you specialize in girls basketball, and
hmm
Harpeth Hall is a girls only private school. And I mean, it's just like every step you've made is, as an outsider looking in, it's just been so impressive. I think you owe a lot to Caitlin Clark. you know,
yeah.
I I really do, because you kind of started this right when she was exploding onto the scene. You know what I mean?
hmm
And
hmm
like even my dad, who knows nothing about basketball, knows who Caitlin Clark is. That's just the kind of player kind of like when Bird and Magic went to the NBA. Like the
Yeah.
NBA just wasn't like a big thing at all, and then they came in and suddenly, boom, it was just huge. That dates me, but that kind of shows you like that kind of impact that a player like that could have. So I don't know. It's pretty impressive. Now, how many AA? So today, Nikki is the assistant athletic director, or the athletic director over middle school at
hmm
Harpeth Hall, and the head coach. You're associate head coach. And then it's kind of funny because basketball goes year round. It's the most ridiculous thing for somebody who doesn't know basketball. But
Yeah.
now you have, how many AAU teams do you have this year?
We have 7 this year, so we've gotten lucky for sure. We try to do things the right way, and we do, but, I mean, I'm just saying try because we're not perfect, but we try to go about things the correct way in this space, and that's what has attracted a lot of families to wanna come play for us. We coach the right way, we're teachers of the game of basketball, so and
I, I
you actually learn how to play basketball, not just run sets and roll the ball out there and get berated by your coach, or your coach is on their phone the entire game or filming the game just for clout. So, we do things the right way. So we've gotten pretty lucky, but every single move we've made has also been very calculated.
Yeah, I
And
think Nikki told me you guys have 66 girls in your program right now.
yes, so
Just
we've got 7 teams across fifth through eighth grade, and we have a premier eighth grade team that is very, very good at basketball that we will keep growing with throughout high school.
I'll brag with you for a minute that I went and saw that team play this past weekend, and they won their first official AAU tournament, right? Wasn't it their very first one? I mean, they win a lot of tournaments,
Yes.
but that was the first
Yes. This is
AAU.
this yeah, state qualifier. We were the champions of the top division in eighth grade, and that will set us up well for the state championship for AAU coming up. And hopefully we get a good seed, and we're able to go out there and make some noise and maybe bring home a trophy.
What's your Instagram if anybody wants to go follow that your
Our
program?
Instagram is Music City Girls Basketball.
That's another thing. I love your name. Like, what was your name when you first started?
We started out as the Alpha Dogs because
Yeah.
that's what the kids wanted to be. And then we transitioned to Dogs Elite because that's what the kids also wanted to then change their name to. They wanted to drop the Alpha. But then to get a better brand name and just dominate the space that is Music City, because why not? We went with Music City Girls Basketball, and we have exploded ever since.
It
And
makes sense. It really kind of shows you how important a name is.
yeah,
Like our last podcast, Peloton People, great name. This podcast, I think it says exactly what I want to do. I mean, it's just
yeah.
exactly it. So we'll see. But I don't know. I've just been so impressed with your program. Okay,
Well,
well, I
thank you.
probably take up a little too much time in your basketball career, but there's other things I wanted to talk to you about too. Like you are the most fit person that I know. And now I'm not saying like you could go out and win a 10K next weekend
No,
or you could go, start for, an overseas basketball team next week or but you just pound for pound, you were just an amazing athlete and you don't go crazy.
no.
Like I've struggled with years. We'll get into my story another time, but I used to run a lot and then I didn't. And now I'm kind of trying to make a comeback. I've been saying that for 25 years. That's not I mean, I've been making a comeback for a long time. Um, but this time it's going well. But anyway, so like one thing I want to do on this show is what people are doing currently. I want to try to emulate. So you
Hmm.
were here at the farm this weekend. So
Yep.
I worked out with you one day. Now it happened to be your easy day. I'll give you that. But it was just so easy and so enjoyable. And it just goes to show for people listening, you don't have to go hard all the time. As a matter of fact, 80%, I mean, most people will say, most experts will say, and I'm no expert, but 80% of your stuff should not be hard. It just shouldn't be. And you probably do even less than that. I mean, you probably do even less hard than that because you're in such top prime shape. But like so my workout I did with you. Now we're both Pelotoners. We both love Peloton. You have the bike. I've got all the
Hmm.
equipment here at the farm and you like to lift a lot. I love to lift as well. You're a bigger lifter than me though. But we just did Peloton yesterday. We started with a 10-minute Bradley Rose ride,
Hmm.
and it was a cool down ride actually. Did that, then we did 5-minute light arms workout. Surprisingly hard if you've never done a Peloton light arms workout. Or I can't remember what exactly it's called, but usually they're about 10 minutes long. And it's just like light dumbbells, like 2 to 5 pounds, basically. We used
Hmm.
threes yesterday. And wow, what a great workout. And then did we do a stretch? Oh, we
Yep.
did a core. We did a standing core with Rebecca Kennedy. That was awesome.
Hmm.
And so you say we did a stretch too? Oh, the stretch off the
After the
bike.
ride, yeah.
Yeah, so that was it. What did that add up to? About 25 minutes maybe?
Hmm.
And it was perfect. I mean, I feel great today. I've really been watching my recovery. You've been a whooper since almost the day it came out, and you've really stuck with Whoop. Me, I have varied here greatly lately.
Yeah.
Um, I just always had this feeling in the back of my head that my Apple Watch should be able to do everything the Whoop does. Now I know Whoop's a great company. I got a friend that's on the board. You still love them, right? Like you love Whoop.
Oh yeah. I'm not switching to
Okay, I
anything
know you're
else.
not switching, but I tried Bevel and I still have a live Whoop subscription right now. I'm just not using it at the moment. And then I've kind of evolved to where I'm using an app, and I swear I think it's like built by like three people. It's Bevel's a big team. They're a little bit like Whoop.
Mm,
Bevel's Bevel. It's a really neat app, and it's free right now because they're kind of revamping the way they're doing it. But I've gone recently with an app called Livity, Livity, and I just really, really like it. And it's really kind of been guiding me on what days to work out hard. I mean, Whoop does that too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they kind of do the same thing. Whoop might even have. I mean, in theory, they have the exact same data. It's just the
right.
algorithms that they use to read it differently. And so I've been really, really enjoying that. And one thing I've also been doing is I've been using Chat GPT more and more. Peloton has a Chat GPT integration, but to me, it's horrible. I don't even know what you would use it for. But if you just really get into Chat GPT and just tell it what you're doing and what you want to do, your goals and stuff, it can map out some really head smart plays for you. And then if you use an app like Whoop or Livity or Bevel or any of those, and you send it your recovery numbers, your strain numbers, and your sleep numbers every day, it can really kind of guide you in how you're training. Just be a little bit flexible. Like the stuff we did yesterday was all low strain, all of it. And you can do that stuff all day long, and it really will not affect your recovery, or actually it'll just make you feel better. But, so what's your current fitness setup? What are you doing these days?
Well, I bike every day. I stretch every day. I do arms and light weights every day. I do core every day, and I lift 5 days a week.
Now
So
the core you're doing, is that through Peloton? Are you doing a Peloton core
yes,
class? And I know
yes.
your light weights is. Now tell us about your lifting, your 5 days lifting plan.
Yes, I use Macro Factor Workouts, which is pretty much Jeff Nippard's new app. And it does custom programs for you and will automatically adjust the weights. And it's the best workout app I have ever used for lifting. And
It's
I've
it's
used
a
a
great
couple. Yeah, so it's perfect for what I need. And so 5 days a week I'm doing that. It's certainly not easy. It's difficult lifting for sure, heavy weight, but it's super fun. I mean, it only takes about 30 to 45 minutes to do. And it's so intuitive that anyone could do it. And
I'm doing it as well when you talk about anybody can do it because you recommended it to me. I tried it. I really didn't like it, and you said try it again, and I loved it. Like when I went back that second time because we tried everything, like
yeah.
weight wise, and my workouts are only about 20 minutes on there. I got
Hmm.
but they're perfect. One thing that surprised me yesterday that I didn't know about with you that you were doing the lightweight workouts every day.
Hmm.
I to me in my mind, I would think that's too much, but it really isn't. I mean, that's just like toning. It's like just toning stuff you're doing. So now, you're stretching every day too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are you doing any yoga or anything like that?
No, I haven't really been able to integrate that at all, but I mean, just stretching is right now for me is good enough.
So, are you happy with everything you're doing right now?
Yeah, I'm at
Is
a
there
good
anything
place
that
right
you
now.
you want to add, but you just don't have time, or you don't have the equipment, or is there anything like that?
I mean, I'd love to play more basketball, like against people. Right now I just play against children, so it's not as fun. But well, it's a different kind of fun, but
Right.
still, um,
You're like Kramer
yeah,
in Seinfeld, the time he was in the karate class. Did you ever see that episode?
no,
Okay, it was
never seen
funny.
Seinfeld.
Kramer's one of the characters on Seinfeld, and he was talking about how good he was in karate, And so the other characters went down to watch him at the dojo do karate, and he's like
Mhm.
this over 6 foot tall guy, and it's just little kids like 8, 9, 10, and he's just killing them all. It's the funniest thing.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'd love to play more basketball, but
Yeah.
I I practice every night usually, so those are just really the times to play basketball.
I'd
So,
also be remiss probably if we didn't talk about your challenges. Like, I think your biggest fitness challenge ever, and where it could have gone totally wrong, is you tore your ACL, right?
that is correct,
And
yes.
and you came back. I mean, and you probably came back
Yeah,
stronger. I don't think everybody does that, you know?
yeah, I mean, I didn't really lift before that. I was really just a cardio only athlete, and it's not like I was training cardio. I was just, doing it every single day because of work and basketball and all that, and then just tore the ACL, realized that I needed to make a change, and hit the ground running with weights, and we built a little home gym for ourselves during that time, and came back stronger, leaner, faster. So, I got lucky in that sense. Had a great surgeon, so surgery was a breeze, and really it was during COVID, so there was nothing to do really other than try to get better. And that's what I did every single day. And as a result, I was able to come back better than ever. It's pretty
So,
fortunate.
so do you see your goals going forward? I mean, are you just going to try to keep doing the same thing, maybe layering in some other stuff, or what are your longevity type goals? I mean, you're
Yeah, I
still
mean,
young. You're 26, so you have
yeah,
no idea like the aches and pains coming. So,
yeah, I mean, right now, I'm pretty content with where I'm at lifting wise. I mean, I'm gonna keep that up as long as possible. They say lifting is the best thing you can do in any type of weights, picking up weights. That is where you improve longevity. Yes, cardio is helpful for sure, but cardio will not improve your muscular health long term. So when you start getting older, your muscle starts fading. If you start from a more muscly place, then the muscle loss that you will have as you age is significantly less than someone else that's just a cardio athlete. And
Yeah,
this
and
is
that was
this
me.
is
That was me totally.
and it's not a dig on the people that just love Peloton, but there's a lot of people out there that only do Peloton and just cardio and
Right.
just running, just biking. That that is not going to help you long term. And people think it will, but if you go on a class, every single instructor will preach to you that you need to take weights. They always
And
say that.
Peloton too has great strength classes. They really do.
Yes,
I
they
think
they 100% do.
you and I kind of prefer that workouts by macro factor because it's just more traditional weightlifting. It just
Well,
feels
it's just
good.
heavy. It's just
Yeah.
heavier. I'm
Yeah.
not my weight classes, and if you do those Peloton weight classes, that's gonna help you.
Oh
That's
yeah.
fine.
They'll
That's
wear you out.
that's
I mean, they're
that's your goal. That's great. My goal is to get stronger and lift heavier, and so that is how I go about that is different. But
yeah.
if you do any weights on Peloton, that's great. Even the light weights are gonna help you. Even core is gonna help you. But just cardio, the long-term benefits just aren't going to be there in
Mhm.
terms of what you want for your body. I mean, maybe your heart health will be good and all that, but really, are you going to be able to get up and down from the floor when you're 60 years old? Yes, if you lift weights.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And talking about that, I'm closing in on 60, and that's one of my big goals for myself is, you know, I was a runner. I would love to be a runner again. And I would like to be a competitive runner at 60, not overall, but just against other 60-year-olds, just people against
Hmm.
my age. So, what I've started doing about 2 months ago is every other week I just go out and run a 5K. Hey, I just like doing it. I have fun. I'm not good. I'm really slow. This past weekend I ran in Lebanon, Tennessee, and I mean it's embarrassing even to say my time, but I'm going to. I ran a 39:20, and which is faster than my other races I've already done. So a lot of it's just getting, you know, remembering how to run fast. Not that this is another story. I was at a race a couple weeks ago, or 3 or 4 weeks ago, and so they had the half marathon before the 5K. So, they have these little signs that people go and they, especially in the half marathons and marathons, where they'll have a pacer. So somebody will be carrying like all right, this is your 12-minute mile group.
Mhm.
So, they're toward the back, 12-minute mile people. And I swear, Anderson, they were going so slow, it looked like they were walking. I mean, and I'm going slower than that, and I don't even realize how slow, ridiculously slow I look. So the race I did yesterday or Saturday, 570 people, I think, ran the 5K part. They had a 15K there too that a couple of hundred ran. So it was a pretty big race.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the times at the end, and I'm nowhere close to placing right now. But my goal is by this time next year when I turn 60 to be competitive. So we'll see. But I look at the winning times, and in my heyday, I would have gotten third overall. And I wouldn't have even appreciated it. My best times in the 5K were like 17 flat. I ran 17 flat almost every time I'd go out. And then in the 10K, I could do a sub 35. So in the 34s. So not great times. I mean, I had friends that were way faster than me, but I could almost go to any race and get in the top three. And it's kind of the same like locally. But now I wasn't good like college wise. I ran it's kind of like a T-ball story. I ran one track race in college. I was a cross country runner mainly, but and for one reason or another, when I was at Vanderbilt, we didn't have a track team, and when I went to MTSU, they didn't have a track team. And then one year they picked up the track team again. It was all like Title IX stuff and everything. Why they didn't have it, and so I went. Coach took me to one track meet. It was in Southeast Missouri. It's a 5,000 meters, 5,000 meters on the track. You never want to run that, by the way. Just don't ever want to run that. And I mean, I think I probably got lapped like 2 laps into the race. I mean, it was unbelievable how fast these guys were. I mean, like fast and just
Yeah.
zoom, zoom, zoom. And my other funny running story was I ran the SEC championships when I was at Vanderbilt. My freshman year, I made varsity. And so I'm the fifth guy on the team, basically, and 7 people run from your school. So I'm out there running the SEC championships at Ole Miss. These guys were the best runners I've ever seen, AK. And so they're running. And so I'm coming out and I'm ahead of like one Ole Miss guy, one Mississippi State guy, and 2 of my own teammates. So I'm like 5th from last in this whole race. And I'm coming down and I'm doing a great time. I mean, it's like 5 miles and I'm close to like 25 minutes. I mean, it's like, between 5 and 6 minute miles, which is pretty
Yeah.
decent. I'm
Right.
coming down and all I hear, it's crickets. And then I hear over the microphone, it goes, the women's race will start in 3 minutes. And that's like, oh, it's like, you just cross the finish line. You're just like, no fanfare. There's no sport that teaches you how to lose like running does, So
Yeah.
it's a crazy, 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 crazy thing. But I'm just so impressed with everything you've done. One thing before I let you go, nutrition, that's a big thing for you. I feel
Yeah.
like you've gone through phases where you've eaten maybe a little bit healthier than you're eating right now just because you're so busy. But like supplements, nutrition, what are you looking for there, and what are you trying to do there?
Yeah, I mean, every day I'll take 10 grams of creatine, so 5 in the morning, 5 at night.
And
Take
everything I've read about creatine or heard about creatine, you really can't overdo it. Most people advise at least 5 milligrams. You go 10. Everything I've heard and read, the real fitness guys out there, they all say like that extra 5 really helps your brain, stuff. So,
yeah.
uh, but you don't really notice anything, do you? I mean, can you tell when you don't take it or when you do take it?
I mean, I haven't not taken it
Yeah,
in
you're good about that.
months. So, I mean, I really wouldn't know. It's been months at this point. So, doing that, I'll do liquid IV in the morning too, just to hydrate early on. Um,
Yeah, you were telling me that yesterday.
and it's good. I mean, this is liquid IV and creatine right here. So like, I mean, it's clear. So
Yeah.
there's really no artificial colors or anything in it that would scare you. And I mean, the creatine I have dissolves so easily. I was telling you about that. I had a creatine from Optimum Nutrition. It just didn't dissolve that well, and this one does. So I'm really happy about that. Then I'll have collagen during the day too, so that's an extra 20 grams of protein. I'll have a protein shake, about 42 grams of protein there. Then I have usually a smoothie a day too, so that's just some extra fruit servings. Then I'll eat some fruit during the day too. And then I'll also have some, I call it none, but I'm pretty sure the name's noon, but
Yeah.
it's just a electrolyte tablet I have at night with more creatine. And so trying to stay hydrated for one, but I mean it's really important to be hydrated throughout the day and especially at night. So then you wake up, you're not starting from a dehydrated deficit already. And then food-wise, yeah, I've been really inconsistent lately. I'm lucky I'm 26 and I work out so much, and then I'm on my feet at night for 4 to 5 hours, so I am very, very active. So that does benefit me, but when I'm in a groove, it's a lot better. I'm trying, I mean, every weekend I'm gone, not necessarily like out of the state or out of town, but I'm not at home, so I'll be at a tournament for 8 plus hours. It could be more than that, it could be a little bit less. So, those days, I really maybe only eat 1 or 2 meals,
Yeah.
so that's hard because then I try to just eat a lot of food because 'cause I'm also trying to bulk right now a little bit. I'm lean bulking. I'm not
Are you
just
trying to reach a certain protein level? I mean, are you trying to do like a minimum of 100 grams a day or
I mean, I'm trying to get probably close to, like, 215, so
okay, that's interesting.
yeah, and so, it's hard when you can only do 1 meal a day, but yeah, I'm also bulking right now. I mean, I have been for a while, but I'm s I mean, I'm not bragging or anything, but I'm so lean that it takes a lot of time for me to bulk, and I'm trying to lean bulk too, so I'm not just trying to add size, I'm trying to add lean muscle. So creatine helps with that too because I mean, like the creatine has gotten me to a baseline of really good lean mass. And so now I'm trying to add more lean mass to that. And cardio's not helping me, not doing me any favors, but I'm not going to not do that because it's good for you to do that with your weights. So if my nutrition's on point, I'll be eating 3 times a day, a couple snacks within the day, like a smoothie and a salad. Um, and then
Your cardio is just simply right now a Peloton bike ride every single day, right?
correct.
And so like if you need a break or something like that, you'll do a recovery ride or just like we
Yeah.
did yesterday, a warm
I mean,
up.
I'm really only pushing the bike like twice a week. I don't
Okay.
really need to. My cardio fitness is where I need it to be. I have
Mhm.
no trouble there, fortunately. So I'm pretty good with where I'm at. And yeah, nutrition wise, I'm gonna try to get into more of a groove, but it's just been hard. And then in 2 weeks, I'm going to Knoxville, so who knows how I'll be able to handle my like, then I might have to it's just Peloton. It doesn't necessarily have to be a ride, so I might have to freaking run when I'm in Knoxville, which would just be brutal, but,
Maybe you'll stay
we'll just
someplace that
see.
has a bike or something like that too,
I
you
think
know?
I'm staying in an Airbnb, so it probably won't, but that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's the hardest part about fitness and life really is balancing the 2 and trying your best when you're on the road. Not everybody has to go on the road for work, and some people work from home. I
Yeah.
pretty much work from home, so I'm able to do it for most of the time, but travel throws a wrench in the plans, and
Travel
you
always
just
does.
you just have to adjust. I mean, more than anything, you hear Alex Toussaint say it going to Peloton, you want to make adjustments, not excuses.
Mhm.
And that's a really important thing to do. And a real piece of advice that I would give people that I give all my basketball players is every single day, no matter what we're doing, try to get 1% better. So,
Yeah.
if we go and lose a game by 20 in basketball, well, next time let's be 1% better, whatever that looks like. Does that mean we got more rebounds? Did we turn the ball over less? Did we talk more? Did we lose by a smaller margin? It really doesn't matter, but it's the small 1% over and over compounding that matters.
That kind of reminds me of something, where when you're talking about fitness and all that kind of stuff, like just the mental stuff's so important. One thing I'm really impressed with you that you do is you're always reading like some sort of self-help book or a biography or something like that, and you'll read a little bit every day. And the book you just finished reading, Atomic Habits, I read that one before. And I mean, it's just a great book. It just
Mhm.
talks about how building tiny little habits makes such a big difference, and you're really good because you're more disciplined than I am. But was that kind of your takeaway from the book as well? I mean, just
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, atomic, the word atom in itself is a small unit, right?
Mhm.
So there's there's no thing that you can do right now that's gonna change your life dramatically. Not I wouldn't think. There is, but at the
Yeah,
same time, not really. So if you want to see major change, you have to stack small habits,
yeah,
whether that's reading and you only have enough time to read one page. Well, at least you read. So then eventually you keep doing that, or you're able to up your volume, and then you're looking at major change because you've read a lot of a book, or whatever you want to get into, whether it's
yeah,
a hobby or a side hustle or something. But it's small habits that stack. Like,
yeah.
I've taken all my supplements religiously for 3 months. Those are all
Mhm.
very small habits. It's not hard at all for me to pour a scoop of something into a drink I'm drinking.
Yep.
And if it is, then I've got bigger problems that I need to address, because that's a small habit that you easily can do. You can flip a switch and just do it. And so I've got a bunch of tiny habits that I'm doing, and they've led to major change.
Yeah.
And the Atomic Habits book even speaks to how having a habit tracker is also really beneficial, because mentally, like, you see yourself check off something off a list, and that just makes you want to do it more. So
Oh, tell
it,
the
it
tell the app that you use for that. You've got an app for that that's really good.
yeah, Hello Habit is the
Yeah.
app I use for that. It's like $20 a year, but it's totally worth it. Tracks everything really well. You get great numbers, great insights, good metrics,
It,
and
it
it's
is
a fun app, and
it
it's
is fun and
cool.
it looks good too.
Yeah, and so I've been using that, and I'm not really a person that is swooned by accolades or credit or recognition. I mean, I really don't care about those things. I'm more so just trying to improve myself or improve the people around me in
Mhm.
whatever way I can, whatever capacity. So it doesn't really appeal to me. Like, the book said that it appeals to human nature, where it's like, and this isn't everybody, but it appeals when you're able to, like, cross something off, or that makes you want to do it. But I think eventually you get to the point where you see yourself do it and you're like, man, I just feel good doing this, that you just keep doing it no matter what. And so that's kind of the state that I've reached. And it's
Well,
kind of just the principles I'm trying to go with.
I love, love, love your journey. I'm so proud of you. I can't even tell you how proud of you I am. I mean, it's so remarkable to have a child that just, makes so many good decisions, especially when you yourself are talking about me, has not always made the best decisions. It's kind of funny to see that
Mhm.
contrast. But you're such an inspiration, and that's kind of what I want this show to be. Now, you actually are making a living in fitness, and I can't
Trying.
wait. I can't wait to see what happens. If I'm still around 20 years from now, and just the impact that you're going to make on all these young women's lives. They're all your people pretty much are still kids. You're
Yeah.
in Harpeth Hall. You got your first one starting to go to college, but it's going to be so neat when you keep up with these girls and who they become when they become young women, and then mothers and their own families, and then you teach their kids. I mean, it's one thing sports really teaches you more than anything. It's just the circle of life.
Yeah.
Education in general. It's just all about that, and I cannot tell you how much I love it. So anyway, thanks so much for joining today, Anderson. I couldn't think
Of
of a better
course.
person to kick off the show with because we did it for so long together. And I'm not sure how I'm going to get this out there where people see it, but if this episode hits home with you at all, or you know someone who you would like to think would like to hear it, share it with them. If they have a real passion for sports and or fitness and just their journeys, we'll get into more of mine and my ups and downs. I've had way more than Anderson, but I'm way older too. But so, and if you're enjoying the show, make sure you follow along. It'll always be available on YouTube. I haven't even gotten it up on the audio platforms yet. I'm going to figure out the best way to do that, because really with our last show, our metrics weren't the greatest. We knew we were a top 5% show, but we didn't know a lot more about that. So, but if you do like this, do follow along, because we've got a lot more real stories coming. And this is real people, real fitness, and we are just getting started. AK, thank you so very, very much for joining. And I'll have to have you back again, because I want to see how your journey progresses and how you do. So, any final parting words?
Well, I would just say this is my last thing. I
Okay.
I was never the best basketball player, still am not, and I'm not the fittest person in the world, and I don't do everything correctly. But I have been able to make a career and a living for myself without being the best at anything.
Yeah.
So anything really is possible. You just have to stay the course. You have to stay disciplined to the best of your ability and just keep getting 1% better every single day. And that's exactly what I've done. That's exactly what Nikki has done. And that's why we are where we're at. Without,
Yeah.
and it took a lot of hard work, no doubt. And it took a lot of luck as well. And anyone that's successful will probably tell you that it's a whole lot of luck and a whole lot of hard work. And when you can get that happy medium, a good combination, the sky's the limit. You just gotta put your mind to it.
And you got to believe, and have a plan. And your plan's not always, it's sort of like I always end up quoting Mike Tyson way more than I should, but he always says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. And so that's it. I mean, you got to have that plan, but you got to be able to pivot and switch directions too. And that's okay, because you're
Yeah.
gonna evolve, you're gonna grow. For me in my life stage right now, I want to um you know age gracefully. My father is still alive. He's 87, your grandfather. And Jennifer's mom lives with us here at the farm, and she's 88, and they just do not have great mobility. If I'm going to be around that long, I want to be mobile. I want to be
Yeah.
able to do things. So
Hmm.
kind of my whole thing is changing, and it always has. Every life stage, and yours will too.
Yeah.
And every listener out there, it'll go through stuff. So I can't wait to see the stories that we get, through this podcast, and just the ideas. Trying something different. We're gonna have maybe an expert or two on, maybe a famous person or two on, lots and lots of regular people, probably a dip into the Peloton people pool some, because lots of those people are nutty about fitness. And they have some really good ideas too, so and I like that. I like seeing the extremes of people that do it like you, and then people that do it crazy like I've done it, and just find your own lane, and be proud of who you are and stay in that lane. So anyway, I was trying to do about an hour today, or no more than an hour. We went a little tiny bit over, but that's okay. It was awesome, Anderson. I love you, man, and I love getting to talk to you about life and fitness. And so proud of you and Nikki. And let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you.
All right, see you guys. Bye bye.
Almost bye bye.